Yeah. Okay. It's Wrestling Uncensored time. Tonight on the show, new matches added for SummerSlam. Roman Reigns back in the WWE, and John Cena was on SmackDown tonight. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. It's Johnny North.
It's not a great start to the show, sadly. Unfortunately, when Cena's around, it makes things all terrible. Puts you in this kind of mood where you like them and kind of get mad about it a little bit inside.
You're mad? What are you mad about? He's on TV.
I can't stand him. Like, I just feel like it was just really hard to watch that. You see that belt shot that he was so scared to take? Yeah, you know it.
Wasn't great.
Everyone else knows it. No, it wasn't great.
He said he couldn't do the match at SummerSlam. He said he couldn't be at SummerSlam.
Well, that was the story that they went with that. I was surprised, by the way, that this, went 15 minutes at most? Like, they did not have a lot of time for this. I expected 30 minutes, but now it's on a 3-hour SmackDown. So they kind of had to rush this a little bit. So I'm surprised they got it all done in time, but they pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of long matches that felt like nothing. It kind of felt like a 3-hour SmackDown. They did that fatal 4-way tag match that just took forever. They went through 2 commercial breaks with that thing. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, and Andrade and Rey Fenix, who are a tag team for some reason. They won, too, that match, the fatal 4-way, to get a future tag title shot against the Wyatt Six, who are the SmackDown tag champs. That match took forever, and it really felt like a match that would be on a 3-hour SmackDown to eat up time. But no, it was on a 2-hour SmackDown to eat up time. That was the main event of the show. Technically, as far as wrestling matches go, I mean, the last segment was John Cena and Cody Rhodes, of course, but SmackDown tonight was not good.
I got to give him a lot of credit tonight, because tonight was the first time I feel like maybe since the beginning of the year, they finally started SmackDown off differently. It wasn't that stupid everyone walks into the arena crap that we see every week. It was, oh no, something happened. Like there was an accident backstage and we're rushing to the accident. Yes, we've seen this before, but thank goodness it was something different to start the show for once. I'm sick of it. Every show, even PLEs all start with the walk-ins. Thank you for doing something different tonight.
I want to talk about that parking lot thing, but I want to start with Cena first, because Cena did say that he wasn't going to be at SummerSlam. That was his whole promo. It was a contract signing. Cody talks about Cena and beating him and all this stuff, and then Cena comes out and he's like, I got to do a Netflix movie. I'm emotionally drained. He basically lost his smile, and he wasn't going to be able to be at SummerSlam. So then he leaves, but then Cody attacks him, beats him up, and hits him with the belt, and then puts the pen in his hand and makes him sign unconsciously? Is that legally binding?
Because Cena said there was a red herring in that promo where he's like, if I sign it, then there's nothing I can do about it. So by him doing that, he signed it, right? So nothing we can do about it now.
No, I mean, in a court of law, somebody goes, is this your signature, sir? And you go, no, that's a scribble that Cody Rhodes made me do while I was unconscious. Here's a video of that. I clearly didn't consent to this. That's not how contracts work. You can't do that. Not a very babyface move by Cody either. Maybe some.
I think in wrestling court, in wrestler court, I think you'd win that, actually. I think they'd count that in wrestler court.
Yeah, that's terrible. That says a lot about the wrestling business.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Sleazy, scummy, of course.
Yeah.
Look at all the babyface.
I got that contract. He was unconscious. So what, pal?
Rip on a lot of baby faces this week. There's going to be a lot of ripping, by the way. Just a lot of ripping. I just was not very happy. We talked about this, I think, possibly on social media, maybe texting this week. Like, I was not impressed with a lot of things that happened this past week that we saw. in WWE. They need a lot of work. Hopefully SummerSlam, they can write the course here, but I wasn't happy with what we saw this past week.
Yeah. I mean, they made a lot of matches for SummerSlam. That whole segment ended with Cody telling Cena that not only will he be appearing at SummerSlam, but it'll be a street fight at SummerSlam. And I realized, they booked, 7 matches this week for SummerSlam? They had 1 match last week. They added 7 this week. And they had to because it's 2 weeks away. Like, they had one thing booked for this show that's 2 nights. And now they added, they have 8 matches total. I don't know how that's going to shake out over the 2 nights, but 3 weeks out, they had 1 match, which was Cena Cody, for a 2-night show in a stadium.
I imagine we've only got half the card so far, actually. I'm expecting much more matches to come in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, 4 matches a night is enough for me. Maybe 5 tops.
I mean, with the commercials that they pull off, I mean, yes, it's very possible. I mean, they pulled off 4 matches in a 2-hour time slot before or last weekend, right? So they could do it. But I expect to see 6 to 7 matches a night for SummerSlam, I think, because they have the talent. They can pull it off.
Yeah, they could do 6 matches a night.
Trying to go for less. You're loving this 5-4 card event now, huh?
Less is more.
You're really still burned out on wrestling this past weekend, I guess.
It's just too much. They do too much. And then they wind up getting hurt. It's like, well, yeah, because you do too much and a lot of it doesn't even matter because if you just serve me lobster and shrimp every day, eventually I'm going to go, I mean, it's good and all, but can I have some pizza or something? Can I get a salad? You know what I mean? There's only that's my problem with AEW, basically, is that, yeah, it's good and all, but, man, if you give me tons of it, I'm going to be full. And I was full after 3 hours. I get full. Give me 3 hours of wrestling, and I'm like, oof, thanks, guys. That was nice. That satisfied my appetite. I am stuffed. And then they want to give me 3 more hours. I go, no. Thank you, I'm full. It's nice and all. It's good food they want to give me, but I'm like, oh, I can't eat anymore. You know what I mean?
I feel it's more portion control with AEW. That was the problem.
Yeah. I trying to make you fat off wrestling.
But it got much better as it went on, though, the show. So that's what kind of helped it a lot.
But
yeah, portion control. That's what they got to work on.
I should have skipped the first half of the show, I think.
Probably. Well, I mean, really, we've talked about this on the post show already, but it was really once you got to that Swerve and Ospreay against the Bucks, that's when it started to pick up a little bit. Then maybe you take a break. And then once you get Tony and Mercedes out there, then you're good again. Because those matches, again, I thought Tony and Mercedes, that's a match of the year candidate right there. That was that good. And I don't think there was any other match that I saw was as good as that this past weekend.
No, I don't think so either. You're correct. I thought Evolution was fun, though.
We talked about Evolution. Okay, I thought there were some good matches. I like Tiffany and Trish.
Yeah.
I thought Rhea and Io was a good match.
Yeah.
The finish, I told you how I thought of the finish. I thought it was kind of dumb.
With Naomi?
The idea with Naomi's fine. It's the execution. Because she just went through a hardcore match, and then she comes out and no-sells it to win the title. I didn't like that. This is a problem. You talk about they do too much. I mean, what's the part of not doing too much is that they don't sell. I mean, the heels especially need to sell. I think in the end, when you get your butt kicked.
Yeah. I think, I don't think you're wrong about that. She wasn't really selling anything when she came out. She seemed fine.
Well,
it wasn't something that I was looking for, but yeah, I guess you're right.
Remember what happened to her in the match? She got punched in the head with a chain. She got in the head with a camera, driven through it, kendo stick shots, chair shots, table. What else?
You want her coming out kind of clutching the back of her head, like, holding the briefcase with one hand, but kind of like walking a little funny.
Oh, I think she was holding her belly welly a little bit, but that was
okay. Well, that's something.
Yeah,
what do you want from her?
Not to be able to perform her moves like properly, like she did her like split-legged, boom, easily, fast. Like,
yeah, but then if you don't do your moves properly, you make Io and Rhea look bad.
But it makes sense. Like, and you don't have to really do moves. She hit her with the briefcase, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Just pin her.
Yeah. Whatever. I thought it was a fun finish because it was a twist that we didn't really see coming.
And you say fun. I mean, that's a heel winning and everyone's happy. You didn't do your job right if that's the case. And they start Raw, you deserve it. You didn't do your job right.
I like Naomi. I like proceed with caution Naomi, though.
I get that you like her, and I thought she did a very good job. But that is the problem, though. If you're supposed to be a heel, supposed to get booed in the end, they're supposed to not like that. They clearly liked her, so it didn't work.
Yeah, but I think against Rhea and Io, she might get booed. I think I put less blame on Naomi and more blame on Jade for being a bad babyface as Naomi's main opponent throughout this thing. Jade is not super likable. She's a better heel.
And against Tiffany, I think she's definitely going to be the heel. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
That's right.
But the promo on Raw with Naomi and Rhea and Io, that also didn't make any sense. Naomi's like, oh, both of you back the line. Then Adam Pearce comes out, and he's like, it's going to be a triple threat match. And then Naomi's in the ring smiling, glowing the title in their faces. That made no sense at all. I was like, what is going on here? I'd slap them all in the face if they came back afterwards. What is it? It doesn't make any sense.
Why? Because Naomi shouldn't be happy in that moment? She should be upset?
She just said, back of the line, both of you. And then she's all happy and smiling about, like, oh, I'm going to defend the title against both of you. Like, what?
Well, it's because she knows that they are going to not proceed with enough caution and they're going to fall into one of her traps. Naomi's a veteran.
It's amazing how you've come up with something to justify it. It's truly amazing.
I'm joking. I don't know. You're right. You're not wrong. But, I don't know. Naomi is the proceed with. It's like a funny gimmick. She's not like fully serious. It's like a cartoon villain. You know what I mean?
Well, like her voice kind of cracked a couple of times too when she did that promo. Like, like you catch that a couple of times. She said that. Like, she's like playing with her voice too much, I find.
I like her. I like Naomi. Proceed with caution, John.
I'm not saying it's bad, but like maybe like this is the problem too. Like sometimes when you're trying to be a heel.
Uh-oh. I think Johnny just didn't proceed with enough caution. Johnny not being cautious enough and he got completely cut off. That's probably Naomi coming after him. How dare you? Johnny, you just cut out. You weren't proceeding with enough caution.
I guess not. I guess sometimes I say things and they cut me off here. I guess YouTube gets mad or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Leor says Johnny is being too harsh. Evolution was great. Angelo says, hi, Leor.
Evolution. Let's go through other matches in Evolution. Why don't we? That NXT match was great. What the hell was that? Like, come on. Like, that was indie wrestling right there. Like, I was not impressed by it. NXT overall, too, by the way, didn't look too well. Like, NXT got destroyed by the main roster.
Yeah.
Like, usually it's actually the other way around. They try to make NXT look good. And NXT looked bad, actually. They looked like they were a step below. Like, I wasn't impressed by that. And the Battle Royal was so long. Like, 20 minutes for entrances? That's ridiculous. You laugh, but it's, come on. Like,
no, it was long. It was long. And Stephanie Vacque won. Wasn't it her and Nikki at the end? Or no, Lash Legend.
We wanted...
It wasn't her and Nikki. Nikki got eliminated kind of midway or like close to the end, but not quite at the end.
Yeah, they made Nikki look okay, but yeah, she wasn't at the end. I guess they wanted to give Lash Legend something, but yeah, Stephanie won, and Stephanie was fine.
Yeah,
that's okay. That was good. Stephanie winning. It's just, again, 20 minutes for that to happen, and then it was like 30 minutes, that whole match too. Battle Royals aren't exactly fun, but I wasn't expecting much from Battle Royal.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a decent show. The Battle Royal was what it was. The 4-way tag match was all right. I was impressed with Sol Ruka. She's pretty athletic. Jade and Naomi was like quite good.
Again, just the lack of selling is the problem. Like, it's fine if you want to destroy them and all that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But then she comes out and doesn't sell, so that's the problem. Like,
yeah, but the match itself was good, man. It was fun.
I thought it was too much, though. It's too much. Like, you destroyed Naomi, and yet she comes back. So you destroyed everything that you accomplished on that.
Didn't Edge lose before he cashed in on John Cena?
Edge lost in the Elimination Chamber. He was first eliminated. If I'm mistaken.
Okay.
Or am I thinking of a different one, actually?
No, the first one. Didn't he lose to like Ric Flair or something?
Yeah, I think he lost like a singles match. I don't think it was like a hardcore anything match. It was just a singles, yeah.
And then he beat Cena to win his first title, didn't he?
After Cena went through the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different there. Like, not hitting the head with a chain, a camera, a table.
Still, he went toe-to-toe with the Nature Boy.
I guess that was something at the time. Like,
yeah, not really. It wasn't, actually. Flair was very old at the time. And now he's incredibly old. Speaking of Flair, Charlotte Flair wrestled on SmackDown tonight. And she had a funny little segment with Alexa Bliss backstage where she's like, oh, yeah, I talked to Adam Pearce, and we have a tag title shot at SummerSlam. And Bliss is like, you just talk to Pierce and get a title shot? And Flair's like, yeah, I'm Charlotte Flair. That's how it works. And yeah, that is how it works. They're getting a tag title shot. It'll be Charlotte and Bliss versus Raquel and Roxanne for the tag titles at SummerSlam. It's official. That, along with many other matches made official. Solo Sikoa defending the United States Championship against Jacob Fatu in a steel cage, made official tonight. Although Solo's going to have to break out of prison, I guess. So that was a weird thing that happened in SmackDown. I know you said you enjoyed it. We touched on it for a second, but they did like a fake car crash thing at the beginning of the show where Tonga Loa was like bleeding, and it was Solo getting talked to by police, and Tala Tonga and what's his name? Other Tonga. He's not a Tonga. JC Chazé.
JC Potato.
Yeah. JC Potato. Whatever his name is. JC Potato is a pretty good name. I think he's JC Potato from now on. So JC Potato's there with Solo, and the cops are talking to them, and the Street Profits are like in the background, and Kathy Kelly is there like on the scene reporting from the car crash that happened in the parking lot of SmackDown. And then we see Jacob Fatu being like led away by police later on in the show because he's like a suspect in this car crash for some reason. And then he's brought back in a police car, and Jimmy Uso is there, and maybe Jimmy has paid for him to come back, or Jimmy's just waiting for him. It's not clear what Jimmy's role is in the whole Jacob Fatu escape from prison story. But Jacob is brought back by the police, and the officer tells him, the indie wrestler pretending to be a cop tells him that he was no longer the person of interest after they reviewed the footage. And it was like, okay, well, why were you ever a person of interest? It's a car accident. Like, what the hell was he even suspected of doing here? What was the crime? And then later on, we have Solo in the ring doing a whole promo. And then Jacob Fatu, that's when he shows up and is released from jail or whatever. And he and Jimmy proceed to beat up Solo, JC Potato, Tallest Tonga, and Smallest Tonga by themselves, 2-on-4 somehow. And then Solo and Potato and Tallest and Smallest are all led away by the police who reappear, the indie cop police, indie wrestler police. And they take them away. And for some reason, they're arrested for being in a car accident. I really don't know what the charges are. I mean, knowing the family, drunk driving, obviously, right? But, I really don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, people are arrested. What, you saying, ooh? How many times have Usos been arrested for drunk driving?
I mean, it's a cheap shot kind of thing, like.
It's 3 times. I talked about it in promos. That's not a cheap shot. But... He's their brother.
Okay.
What am I supposed to understand, John, when they're doing a car crash angle and they're being led away by police? What did they do? Did they drive under the influence? It's a joke. God, take it easy.
Sure. It's rough.
Just like JC Potato isn't his real name, but it's funny to say it. It's a joke.
I think the problem with this whole thing, I think the idea was good. Again, the execution was just lacking in certain points. We were missing key elements. We should have seen the video footage. That would have kind of helped in okay, boom. Instead of the police doing the whole turnaround thing, aha, no, it's going to be you that we take. It shouldn't have been done like that. That's too much on the cops. Let the fans savor the moment more with we know that's going to happen. Not the cop takes the moment for them, That should have happened.
They shouldn't have done it because it was stupid.
Well, sure. But they had that idea in mind, so they're going to do it. We've seen this before happen, no? With Jeff Hardy, right, in the past?
It never makes sense. It never works.
Again,
what happened even? Was Jacob Fatu in the car crash?
I think the idea was Solo accused Jacob of doing it, but video footage showed that Solo just set it up, that it looked like Jacob did it.
You are adding a lot of pieces that they did not give us, John.
I know.
They're adding a lot of in-between logic that was not present on tonight's episode of SmackDown.
I know. They missed a lot that they needed to show us, and they didn't give it to us.
Yeah, and what we got was confusing nonsense. Poorly written, poorly executed bullshit by the brilliant mind of Triple H. I think that today we'll do a car crash. And then you'll think Jacob's getting arrested because he's been in jail before. So we'll do that because look at him. He's all, thuggish from the street. So we'll put him in jail. And then he'll come out because, the police are trying to persecute him. That's cool. Let's do that. And it's just a half-baked idea from Triple H trying to do something edgy, and it comes off being stupid. Because Jacob Fatu, of course, as he leaves the police, he's like, punk-ass police. He's all mad. He's all, rebellious. And you're like, all right. What is this? What are we saying even? It was awful.
Well, the main point was to make Jacob and Jimmy cooler, and I think they succeeded in that in the end.
What?
Did it make? Yeah, because they got to beat up four.
They beat up 4 guys: Tallest, Smallest, Potato, and Solo.
So they were cooler in the end.
That is a fun group to talk about. Tallest, Smallest, Potato, and Solo. That's who they are now.
I wish they were still the Bloodline. The MFTs, it's not a great name.
The MJFs?
Or the MJFs, sure. Yeah. It's
they're either the MJFs or they're the MJFs. JC Potato, Solo Sikoa, Tallest Tonga, and Smallest Tonga. Missing Tommy Tonga.
I like, though, that the first they came out, when Solo took the mic, they were chanting OTC at him. So it just goes to show that no matter what he does, he's always tied to Roman. Well, it also helped that he came back this week, Roman, too. So
yeah, but he doesn't have a match yet for SummerSlam, Roman. So let me give you all the matches for SummerSlam, And then I want to talk about Roman for a second. Solo and Jacob will wrestle in a steel cage for the U.S. title. Judgment Day, Raquel and Roxanne defending the tag titles against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch defending the Intercontinental Championship against Lyra Valkyria. Lyra beat Bayley on Raw this week. I don't know where that leaves Bayley, but there's that. Naomi defending the women's world title against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a triple threat.
Super chat.
Thank you for that. Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk. CM Punk winning the gauntlet match, beating Braun Breaker, who had a very impressive performance, getting some big wins. One was surprising. Gunther now will wrestle Punk for the world title at SummerSlam, which is pretty cool. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll will team up to face Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill. And John Cena and Cody Rhodes in a street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, you didn't hear me say Roman Reigns there because he's not on the card yet. Now, Roman came back. He helped Punk a little bit. He was more helping Jey Uso, I think, who had come out to help Punk. Punk was getting beat up by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker at the end of Raw after the gauntlet match. And Jey Uso came out to help Punk, but then Bronson and Braun beat up Jey. And then Roman Reigns returned, and he cleared the ring. And it seems like Roman's setting something up against either Braun Breaker one-on-one or what I think is more likely a tag team match with Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam. I think that's where we're headed. The Braun Breaker-Roman Reigns match is something that I didn't realize I wanted to see until Raw this week. I was like, ooh, that would be fun. At this point in their careers would be interesting. But I don't think we're getting that at SummerSlam. Maybe down the road, but not yet. I think it's a tag match, right? Jey Uso and Roman versus Bronson and Braun.
Well, I think you're right in the sense where if you had a singles match, Roman versus Braun, that's huge. But you already have like main event matches. So that's just another match on the card. So I think that's a match that should be like a main event. So if it's going to be a match, it should be a tag match. Plus it gets Jey and Bronson Reed on there because them in a singles, I don't really want to see at all, to be honest. No interest at all. So
no,
for them to be involved, it needs to be a tag, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, let's do that. And I think that's a good match to be on night 2, actually, to start night 2. I think people would be very interested in seeing that. Like the way I'm seeing things shape up right now, I mean, obviously Cena and Cody, that's the main event of night 2. Night 1, I think it's up in the air. It's either the triple threat for the Raw Women's title well, it might be Punk and Gunther, though, because more than likely there's a title change there, I think.
I want to say something, John.
Uh-oh.
I think it's time that we stop talking about women main eventing night 1 and start saying, like, yeah, they're going to main event night 2. Because the more I watch the men wrestle in WWE and AEW, and the more I watch the women wrestle, every show I watch, the women's match is the best match. Every time. Every big show. From Toni Storm and Mercedes to Io and Rhea to Raquel and Rhea in Saudi Arabia. Like every show we watch, we review, it's always the women having the better matches. So why aren't they main eventing night 2 of WrestleMania or SummerSlam or whatever? Why aren't they closing the shows? They're better. The characters are more compelling. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. It's a golden era of women's wrestling, and there are a bunch of them that I didn't even mention right there. Tiffany Stratton. Like, It's crazy how much talent is in the WWE, in AEW, in the world right now for women's wrestling. It's never been better than it is right now. I don't think anyone could argue that women's wrestling has ever been in a better position than it is in right now in 2025. Because the pay-per-view, the PLE, whatever, it is aptly named. It is an evolution. Because up until very recently, women weren't really wrestling like that in wrestling. But now, for the past, what, John? 10? I mean, how long has Charlotte really been around? 10, 15 years?
At least 10.
So for the past maybe 10 to 12, 15 years at most, it's been like, oh no, this is wrestling. So they're getting better, and there are young women that are growing up seeing this, and like, it is an evolution. They are getting way better, and the characters right now, and it's like, they have so much talent. There's so many huge stars on their roster in the women's division. And you look over at the men's side, and it's like, they're not really doing as much. They're not really as compelling. And again, I think it should be merit-based. I don't think we're alone when we review these shows where most of the time the women's match is the better match. You know, there's like 8 matches on the card, 6 of them are men, 2 of them are women, and one of the women's matches is probably the best match of the whole show. And it happens like a lot, man. It's been happening a lot for the past couple years, 2-3 years, you know, WrestleManias, all these big shows, All In, all the big shows. It's the women's match that is the best match. So at what point do we go, they're main eventing night 2 because the men aren't as good? At what point do we go, yeah, it's the world title and this is the men's world title? You know, like, we're still treating it like, it's like, well, main eventing night 1 will be really good enough for Rhea and Io. And it's like, they should be main eventing night 2, I think. And Cena and Cody can main event night 1 because we've seen that before. And really, the match is going to suck. So why don't we have the big match with the big stars, with the big title on the line, which is actually going to deliver in the ring, instead, main eventing night 2? Why don't we have those matches actually headlining the card? Why don't we focus more on the women's wrestling? Because at this point, they're the most entertaining ones. I watched Evolution and I was like, this is fine. This is all right. And it makes you think, like, wow, look at all these stars they have. They really didn't bring many people back from the past. They used current roster talent, and they had enough depth to do it, which you couldn't really say the first time around when they did it. They brought back a lot of people. But this time around, you're like, wow, they got a lot. And then you see people like Sol Ruka, and you're like, oh, they have people, more of them coming up.
Super chat, super chat, super chat, super chat, super chat.
It's
super
time.
Chat.
Like, it's time for the shift to totally happen, I think. And you know me, John, I'm always ahead of these trends in wrestling. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen. It will happen. It's bound to happen. And if I were to book SummerSlam, I would book Rhea and Io and Naomi as the main event of night 2. Cena and Cody can go on night 1. Rhea Ripley, man.
The thing is, you're basing this off the merit of who's got the best wrestling match.
No, not just that. No, are you going to tell me Rhea Ripley isn't as big a star or close to Cody Rhodes?
I think Cody's bigger
than Rhea?
Yes.
Reaction-wise, you think?
I think slightly, but he is bigger.
But I think a lot of that has to do with the positioning that the WWE puts him in.
Sure, of course, but he still is. Like,
yeah.
And look who he's against.
But, yeah, well, Cena, of course, yeah. He's like a classic character. It's hard to... But I'm telling... Like, I'm not saying it's going to be this year's SummerSlam, right? Like, okay,
Right,
Cody,
right.
Cena, I get it. But at some point, a WrestleMania Night 2 is going to be main evented by women. And it should be. Because over time, we're going to catch up and be like, yo, who's really stealing these shows? Who is the best on these cards? Who do we pay money to see?
Well, it's something to look back on, actually. The last couple of WrestleMania main events, the women have not been in them at all.
Yeah. Yet.
So
they've had the better matches.
Well, yeah, but they've had, some of them have very good matches. It can happen without question. But what do they go on? They go on what's the best story. And,
what main event did Night 1 this year?
It was a triple threat. It was Punk, Seth, Roman.
Yeah, Charlotte Tiffy should have main evented Night 1.
I mean, did that really have the best story? It only started heating up because they started shooting on each other.
Yeah, so it did have the best story. It was really good. It was a lot of heat.
But it wasn't what they wanted, though, so. Wasn't what WWE wanted.
Yeah. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, love the impressions, Dave. After that breakdown of Triple H planning the car crash incident, I no longer have to watch WWE Unreal on Netflix. That's correct. I'm more real than the Unreal. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat as well. Thank you, Harold. He said, as you said many times, AEW has better wrestlers, but not two great storylines. Yep. WWE storylines suck with performers, not wrestlers. Well, so what are they offering, really? Leor says star power, Dave. And he says, has Rhea been in any movies or TV shows yet? I mean, I think, yeah, that's a solid point. You guys aren't wrong. I haven't seen Rhea in anything. I mean, she's not John Cena, right? I get it. But, you know, I think all that stuff is coming.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. Like, I could definitely see it happen. They just need to position it that way, but they haven't done that. They haven't given it enough attention. They give it a little bit of attention that you kind of care, but they don't make it like this is the thing. This is the biggest thing. They haven't really done that. Sometimes they do it, but it rarely happens. Like when we had like Charlotte versus Rhea, that was like the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't even main event. So that was kind of a step backwards for them a little bit.
Yeah. And, you know, the way they booked them and the way they booked their stories, you know, you have Rhea and Io and Naomi, like 3 strong stars in the ring. And their match is booked by them just like yelling over each other and just being like yelly and, you know, and then Adam Pearce having to come in and be like, ladies, you know, here's this dude coming in. Let's have some order here. Your match is at SummerSlam. It's like, and you never see like 2 dudes like screaming over each other and then Adam Pearce coming out like, gentlemen, don't stop talking to us, you know? That doesn't happen. They don't treat the men like that. It's like a very, but if you notice, it's a demeaning thing, you know? And if you notice, WWE does that a lot. They do that a lot with the women, where they just end one of their little promos with them just yelling at each other, talking over each other, and then a man coming in and going like, ladies, let's not have a cat fight here. And you're like, you know?
Well,
it's just how they book it.
Like,
I'm telling you.
You know, you had all women wrestlers, you had all women referees, ring announcers, but the commentating was still all men. So the voice is still men.
Yeah.
So don't forget that. That's just the way it is. It's not going to change just because it's the way it is with WWE. They're getting progressive, but they aren't completely there yet.
And who was in Gorilla running the show? Any women?
I imagine Stephanie hanged around. No, I mean, she came out.
I mean, she's not. Yeah, but she's not like. How many producers? You know how many people that actually work for WWE running the show were women?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that. Not too many.
How many people who actually have a say in anything creative wise in WWE are women?
Yeah, that's a good point. They got rid of Warrior's wife, right? Like, she used to have some more of a say.
Whatever that was.
It was something. She was there.
She was there when Vince was there, and then when Vince left, she left.
Well, that's business for you. That happens.
Don't mix business with pleasure, pal. So Evolution happened. And SummerSlam will happen. A lot of matches. Braun Breaker had an impressive performance. Like, he is something else. Good.
Tremendous athlete.
Yeah. Really good and really just getting better. Getting better in his character, understanding what people want from him in a promo. The matches are high impact. Every time you see him in these big spots, like, he shines. He's not wilting under the pressure. Like, he's built for this. You could tell, like, oh, okay. Like, he's always shown this promise, but it feels like over the past couple of months, he's really coming into his own as far as, like, a mega star. And it really is, you know, the affiliation here with Heyman and Seth and the whole group. It's put Breaker on a new level. And he really looked good here in this gauntlet match. He beat Penta, and then he beat LA Knight. And I don't think he had any help from Bronson Reed to beat LA Knight, right? He just beat him?
Just beat him, yeah.
After beating Penta clean. I
mean, they're pushing him, so it makes it. But they kind of said LA Knight was hurt, though, from the Seth Rollins match, which is kind of, you know, weird, whatever. But okay,
how was he hurt from the Seth Rollins match where Seth Rollins, like, busted his knee mid-match?
I don't know if they actually did or not, but they're saying he did. But I guess, you know, wrestling Seth, being Seth, it takes a lot out of you. So I guess that's their
Yeah, it's
reasoning.
tough, though, because the optics on that, like, whatever. People go, oof. Braun just beat LA clean after beating Panta. Like, I'm surprised they didn't use Bronson Reed earlier, because they also used Bronson Reed later on.
Right after.
Against Jey Uso, right in front of the referee, and then commentary is like, oh, it's no disqualification, so he can do that. And I'm like, it is no why is it no disqualification in a gauntlet match? Shouldn't he just be disqualified and then the next person come out?
Yeah, I think Heyman was supposed to distract the referee, but he forgot, or something happened where there was a miscue and the referee was supposed to be distracted, wasn't.
Right.
And they said that because, yeah, there's supposed to be disqualifications, but I guess they just threw that in there. Maybe they forgot to distract the referee too. That's possible, but yeah, that was weird. It's too bad.
And if there's no disqualifications, why doesn't Bronson Reed just come in and start beating people up with Braun Breaker and then just help him the whole way? Why is he just, like, trying to do things, like little things outside the ring? If it's no DQ, he can do whatever he wants. Why is no one using a chair?
The logic is lacking when you throw that in there, because why wouldn't anyone do that? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So, I
mean, clearly what happened was the referee was supposed to be not looking, and the referee was looking right at Bronson Reed while he, like, pushed Jey Uso off the top rope. And then commentary is like, whoa, what's he doing? It's no disqualification, but still, how can he do that? And I'm like, why is this no disqualification? This is not no disqualification. Don't lie to me, Michael Cole or Corey Graves or whoever.
It was Michael Cole. But on the ring announcing, and I went back and checked, they never said it was a no disqualification gauntlet match.
No. And like, wouldn't that have come into play in the earlier matches or late after that in some way? The only non-traditional thing that happened, like outside the rules thing that happened throughout the whole gauntlet match, which took a long time, was the Bronson Reed thing.
I think this goes to show WWE uses the interference too much. They got to cut back on that a little bit. They got to cut back on the interferences because they do it all the time. It's a bit of a crutch for them. And they got the referee bumps too. Like Karma kind of got them in the butt a little bit. Like they bumped Charles Robinson in Saudi Arabia, then they bumped him at Saturday Night's Main Event and he cracks a rib. Like you can bump refs, but they're not supposed to be pinballs. So you can't bump them around too much. Eventually they're going to break. And that's what happened.
Yeah. And they do so many like interference things that they forget they have to distract the ref to do it. That's how wrestling works, but, whatever. So Punk got a distraction from Jey Uso, winds up beating Braun Breaker with a GTS, and wins. And then Roman Reigns came out and all that. Punk Gunther. Punk lost to Cena in Saudi Arabia when he went for the WWE title. Now the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam. I don't know. Probably not, right?
I think he's about to win, and then Seth's going to cash in. I think that's the plan. Like, I don't think it's a real injury with Seth.
No, me neither.
Because I watched it over a couple of times, and it's like, if he's hurt, it would have been on the follow-through, or the roll, not the follow-through, actually. Like, the roll is where, okay, that kind of looks weird. But when he lands it, it's like, oh, he's fine, actually. But
yeah, I don't buy the injury at all. I was buying it at first, but then I saw him talk about it afterwards, and it didn't feel right. He was
evaluation too.
He was like hosting some sports show or something. I saw a clip of him talking about it, and it was like, yeah, we don't have we don't know what it is. I went down to Birmingham, but there was too much swelling, so we don't know exactly what the prognosis is. And I'm like, well, don't you go to Birmingham to get surgery? Why would you go there without knowing what you have? Why would you go to the surgery place without knowing what you even need on your knee because there's too much swelling that you can't tell yet? You're going to go back in a few days and get it checked out, and we'll see. But you're hoping to be back by next year's WrestleMania. That's what you're really like, okay, so you don't know what you have. You don't know how bad it is. You went to Birmingham, Alabama for no reason when that's where you go to get surgery, but you didn't get surgery. So what's actually going on with your knee? It's just very suspicious because we've seen wrestlers have injuries, and the way Seth's talking, it just like there's parts that don't quite add up. It's very WWE where like they haven't given him a full story to tell, so he's just like giving him the lines that he's been given, and it doesn't really work. So yeah, I don't buy Seth's injury either, and I think we do see him come back at SummerSlam to do something to Punk. I think you're right. Seth injury thing. Goldberg mad that his send-off wasn't good enough. What a piece of trash. The whole wrestling world just coming down on Goldberg, which is great because every time Goldberg is mentioned, I completely obliterate him and shit on him because he's the worst. So, yeah, it's nice to see everybody hating Goldberg this week for being just a complete ungrateful piece of shit that we've always known that he is. He was mad that his big retirement speech got cut off, even though he got to come back, have a world title match with Gunther in the main event, at Saturday night's main event. It's more than most good wrestlers would get, and he's not even that. So the fact that he would complain and be mad and just such a dick, such a piece of shit. Saying that, oh, I laughed when Gunther chopped me because I was so surprised it didn't hurt. I just broke character. I wasn't like, no, you're trying to show him up. You're trying to act tough. You're trying to not sell and laugh to be like, oh, look how tough Goldberg is. Everybody thinks Gunther's big and bad, but oh, look at me. It didn't hurt. I couldn't believe how much it didn't hurt. I had to laugh. And I'm like, you're such a dick. Unprofessional piece of shit. WWE should not have given him a match. His last match should have been at WrestleMania 20 against Brock Lesnar, taking a stunner from Steve Austin, getting the fuck out of the wrestling business forever. He is an embarrassment. He ended the career of the greatest wrestler of all time. He is forever a piece of shit. And for him to go out like this, where he complains about his retirement party given to him by WWE, and then the wrestling world proceeds to shit on him, is exactly how he should go out, being remembered as a self-centered, egotistical maniac who thinks he's way tougher than he is and is actually a piece of shit human being and should not be respected or loved by anyone except his family.
Well, I'll stick up for Goldberg here because obviously I'm not going to whatsoever.
How dare you?
Look, like when you make a deal with someone, you hope that they're going to uphold their end of the deal, and they clearly didn't. Now, would it have been the hardest thing in the world for them to actually air that whole speech on Raw? Would that have been so difficult? I don't understand why it never aired.
Because, maybe it sucked. No one they put it out on their YouTube channel. They put it out on all their social media. That's enough. They don't have to air it on Raw too. It's enough. It's enough. And look, sometimes the guy in the wheelchair cuts the promo on you and the show goes off the air before you get a chance to get your super kick in. Shit happens.
Right, and then I think they aired it afterwards, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a totally different thing. So we're not really going to get into Brett and Sean as we always do.
You got the reference.
Yeah, I got
the obscure Brett and Sean references you always catch, brother.
Yeah. But like in the end, like I was happy with the match. I thought, again, it's not the greatest match in the world, but I think it was the best you could have possibly done. I think that was the best Gunther could possibly done. And Goldberg put over Gunther, saying that he was very happy with what he did. And like he even said Gunther carried him.
Yeah, no shit.
So like I think he was happy on that part. He just wished WWE did a bit more. I was happy with the whole entrance, like Doug Dillinger like knocked on the door. Ernest Miller was with him. I think Josh Barnett was with him. His son was with him. I thought that was kind of cool. Like they made it feel like it was kind of special a bit. I just wish that promo thing could have been done a bit better, but it's not the end of the world. I think he's just saying like it could have been better, and he's not wrong. It could have been better, but he still made money. WWE made money. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I think he kind of makes mention that, that's the end for WWE, but maybe not for him. Maybe he'd like to end out on a better note. So I could see him like do his own like tour, the end of Goldberg kind of thing. I could see that happen.
Gross. I don't want to see him ever again. Doug Hepburn says the guy in the chair, Ricky, the guy in the chair. Did I refer to Brett as the guy in the chair? Or did I say in the wheelchair? Because if I said the guy in the chair, that's funny. You
may have said the guy in the chair, yeah.
Did I say the guy in the chair?
You may have said the guy in the chair, yeah.
The guy in the chair. Fucking away she goes, Johnny. Fucking away she goes. Okay, Nikki Bella wrestled not only at Evolution, she also wrestled on Raw. So she's back. She beat Chelsea Green. Also, why was Chelsea Green on Raw? Isn't she on SmackDown? Also, why was Roman Reigns on Raw? Isn't he on SmackDown?
LA Knight was on SmackDown. He's wrestling potentially for the world title. But as we saw, Nick Aldis wasn't on SmackDown, so Pierce was doing both shows. So I guess that's why he could do whatever he wants for both shows. I'm sure that would be the reason, to be honest.
Okay, well, it was weird. Nikki Bella, though, back. I watched her match. I was happy to see Nikki back. I'm a big fan of Nikki Bella. I don't know what they have planned for her, but the fact that she's wrestling on Raw was a big surprise. I thought it was just, Evolution and that'd be it. But she just wrestled Chelsea Green on Raw? That was cool.
It wasn't the greatest match. It was all right. I thought commentary was kind of burying her a little bit, to be honest. But I thought the match was fine for what it was. I think Chelsea Green makes sense because they kind of had a bit of a rift at Battle Royal at Evolution. So she was kind of facing them all at the same time. So it kind of made sense to maybe wrap that up. I don't know if Nikki's going to be there all the time, but I guess they wanted to get that match in. So they got it in. They were happy with it. It looked like Nikki was going for her finish. I think she's talked about this on her podcast, and like she went for the wrong finish. But Chelsea, to me, it looked like Chelsea saved that by stopping her.
Yeah.
And allowing Nikki to actually do it correctly, even though it wasn't the greatest Rack Attack version 2, whatever, but
it was all right.
I mean, the job got done.
Kind of like a TKO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a TKO, but they call it the Rack Attack version 2. I think that's the actual name, but it didn't look great, but whatever. No one got hurt in the end. I think that's the important part.
I just like seeing Nikki Bella. Good to see fearless Nikki back on Raw where she belongs. WWE Hall of Famer, legend of the ring, Nikki Bella. And it was cool to see Punk wrestle on Raw too. Always good to see him in the ring. You know, he's not always wrestling on Raw. It's rare.
I mean, he kept it very simple.
Yeah.
That's what Braun was doing, like his talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
For that match. So, you know, it was what it was in that. It wasn't exactly the most stellar Punk performance, but he did wrestle. He did qualify as number one contender. So we got that. So that's nice. And
yeah,
I look forward to the match. But I don't expect Punk to walk out as world champion. Or if he does, I don't expect it to be a long reign, sadly.
Yeah, I think Seth gets involved for sure. Okay, as far as AEW goes, they were back at it this week in Chicago. They're going to be in Chicago a lot. You know about this?
Yeah, for like next 4 shows or something, they're going to be in Chicago?
Yeah, so
like
they did.
It's always there.
It's like, yeah, next like 4 weeks of TV, they're in Chicago in this same spot.
Right. That's good for them.
Right? It's the same little spot they're staying in.
Pretty sure you're right. And then they go to the UK, I think, right?
Yeah. So they're in Chicago. It's like a residency doing Dynamite and Collision in that little theater in Chicago for like several weeks, which is kind of cool. You know? It's kind of a cool concept.
Well, I saw people complain like, oh, they go from 30,000 to like 1,000. Like, yeah, but you understand they're there for 4 weeks. Like, that kind of makes sense. It's not going to be like, and it's not just, like you say, 2 shows like for 4 weeks. Like, that's actually not too bad. You can pull off like 2,000 every week, actually, or over 2,000.
It's not bad. You know, instead of doing like a 10,000, 15,000 seat arena one night, you do over 4 weeks, you know, whatever. 2,000, 4,000 a week. You know, you're doing about the same, but it's over 4 weeks instead of one night. WWE does it, you know, a couple times a week. Big arenas, packed. Different business, but you get it. You get why it is. But AEW has a new champion, Hangman Page. He cut a solid promo to start off Dynamite this week, thanking everybody, thanking all the wrestlers, even Swerve, thanking Ospreay, thanking Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin. But then he was in the main event against Jon Moxley and his friends again. Just right away. They're just in the ring again.
Well, this goes back to the selling, too. It's like you're just in a Texas death match and bam, you're wrestling again.
Like 4 days later, you're in a match with Mark Briscoe and Powerhouse Hobbs, Hangman Page, against Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta in a trios main event for no reason. It's just there. It's a nothing match, and then you just see Hangman and Moxley again in the ring against each other, and you go, well, everything feels less special now. Everything feels like it means less. It was so unnecessary. He should have done the promo and been done with the show. He's the world champion. Like, protect him. And he just does this nothing trios match. It's just pointless. And it makes things feel less important. And then the distraction at the end with Darby up there and Moxley's all scared, and then Hangman hits the buckshot and wins for his team.
No,
it was just
he didn't hit the buckshot.
No, didn't he hit the buckshot?
He was going to hit the buckshot on Claudio. Claudio ducked it, and then he rolled up or jackknife pinned Claudio.
Oh, right. The buckshot on Moxley was with the Darby distraction. After.
That wasn't the pin.
No, It wasn't the pin. That was the post-match stuff. You're right. Because after Hangman's team won, then the bad guys attacked again, and then Darby distracted them, and then Hangman hit the buckshot and then allowed Hangman to stand tall and kind of look at Darby like, are we going to fight one day? What's going on here?
A lot of action.
Yeah, I like Hangman a lot. I'm happy he's champion. We will get a Johnny North movie review here in a couple minutes. Okada and Swerve seem like they're going forward doing something. Kenny Omega seems like he's taking some time off for a bit. Will Ospreay also banged up, maybe injured, taking some time off. 2 big stars to lose after a big show. Hopefully they're okay.
To me, the best part of Dynamite this week was the Edge promo. I don't know what you thought about it, but I thought it was very, very good.
I thought it was kind of boring.
I thought it told the story very well. The whole thing with Christian. Explained too, like, he didn't come out there to save Christian. He happened to be there. He just wanted to get back at FTR and all of them. That's it.
Yeah, but then there was a lot of talk about FTR, and I was like, okay.
Well, I just explained the story and the history, and then you had.
It was a recap promo.
Pretty much. I think you needed that recap because I don't think you remembered a lot of it. To be honest,
I remembered Edge. I know what Edge is doing.
Okay.
He came back.
But maybe
he wanted to be with Christian. Christian said no. They feuded. Christian was mean. Edge was, fighting him. And then Edge teamed up with FTR. And then FTR turned on Edge. And Edge hasn't been seen really since.
4 months, like you kept saying, 4 months.
I mean, it's not that complicated. That's why I didn't love the promo, because it was a recap of things. I was like, yeah, I know. I know this. Oh, now you want revenge on FTR? Okay. Maybe Christian will team up with you to help you get that revenge. Can we get to that? I don't know. I didn't love it. My favorite part of Dynamite was the Young Bucks. I thought they were hilarious. No longer EVPs, just no longer Matthew and Nicholas, just Matt and Nick. I thought their entrance video was super funny when they came out for their match. They have like a crappy entrance video. They don't have pyro anymore. They don't have a nice room anymore. They don't have a limo anymore. They have to drive their own rental car to the building. They're upset about it. They're aligning themselves with Don Callis because they really have nobody else to align themselves with, and they're even unsure of it, but they're going along. I thought the Young Bucks were really funny this week. I thought they were the best part of the show. I was amused by their character change. It was a thing I didn't really see coming. I thought the Bucks were going to remain EVPs, but the fact that they're not anymore and they're kind of like salty about it was amusing to me. That was my favorite part of Dynamite. Seeing the Bucks show up to the arena in their own car like mad, and then the backstage stuff that they did, and then coming out for their match and their entrance. Very funny.
Are you a fan that they're back with Don Callis now, it looks like?
No, because that match felt like a big pile of nothing. Like, that was another one. I was like, well, what? And it was so bad, too. Like, it's not the Young Bucks' fault. It's AEW's fault. But, like, Don Callis is like, how about you guys join me and, like, we're friends again? And Bucks are like, okay. And then Callis hugs them. And then on the screen, it's like, well, coming up next, it's the Young Bucks, Josh Alexander and Hechisaro, who are 2 guys from the Callis family, taking on Jet Speed, Bandito, and Brody King. And you're like, oh, well, they're already with Don Callis. Like, this is our, like, what? Like, you can't do a thing where it's like, will they or won't they? And then it's like, yeah, they will. And then, oh, here's a graphic because they're actually in a match with these guys anyways. And you're like, wait a second. What do you mean? You know? That was bad.
I love the line though that Taz said after Don Callis. He's like, man, Don, like most of the roster's in your family now. He's like, yeah, it's like 25 people now. He's like, you can have your own show. And then, I wonder what we'll call it. And then Taz's like, I guess you can call it Dynamite because he's not wrong too. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good line by Taz.
Yeah. But again, that match, like they do a bunch of these like multi-man tag matches that feel like nothing.
Oh, for weeks they've done the all-star tags.
It's terrible.
It's like, there's some good spots. Don't get me wrong.
I've said that's all it is, man.
That's all it is. That's it.
It's so pointless. I hate it.
And
I
feels
skipped
like
through most of these matches. I'm not watching them.
I understand, but it feels like it's the same thing over and over again. It's just take two guys out, put two guys in, and just boom, repeat the same thing next week. Like that's the problem with the all-star stuff.
I don't need to see. Like, there's so many guys in that match that AEW hasn't really given me a reason to watch. Like, the Young Bucks, okay, like, sure. But then you have Hechicero, Josh Alexander, Bandito, Brody King, Jet Speed. It's an 8-man tag. 6 out of the 8, I go, I don't really care. I don't really have a reason to care about what they're doing. They're all good at wrestling. They're all athletic in their own ways. But I don't give a shit about anything they do, which is the booking problem, which is the AEW problem, which makes all the athletic things they do, all the risks and injuries and bumps and bruises that they put on their bodies, completely pointless. Except for the check, the check is good, I guess, whatever you're making, but people don't care about just moves. You got to give us a reason to care. And so many of those guys in that match have not given me a reason to care, and I watch Dynamite every week. You know what I mean? I actually watch AEW, and I don't care about any of those guys. Brody King, Josh Alexander, I don't care. Mike Bailey, like, I've met and interacted with, nice guy, good wrestler from here, Montreal, But I don't. AEW has made me go like, oh, yeah, it's Mike Bailey, all right. I don't really care about his tag team partner. I don't know him. So I don't care. I don't care about any of this stuff. And I skip their matches, which is sad because their bumps go in vain. But hey, that's weekly TV wrestling for you.
I thought the opener was solid. I think it was Dorado against Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, another match that means nothing, that no one cares about. Well, because who is Dorado? He is a nobody in AEW. He is a jobber.
Talented luchador. But you're not wrong about that.
Talented luchador who loses all of his matches except for once in a while on Collision against another talented luchador who also loses all of his matches. No one cares.
I mean, you said it better than Excalibur did, but Excalibur puts it more in a positive light. But you pretty much said it better than him. I thought the four-way was the best match I thought that we saw this past week. It was, I believe, Statlander against Nightingale, against Tekla, against Queen.
Tekla won.
Tekla's getting better, I find. Like, I think she's better actually when she's wrestling bigger people. Actually, when she's wrestling, like, I don't know what she's doing now. She's doing something like doing like a faction now with Julia Hart and Sky Blue. That's probably better because like her against the little ones, like, not so great. But when she's wrestling people that are bigger than her, like, I feel she's more impressive actually.
Women stealing the show once again. Speaking of women stealing the show, Toni Storm with a great promo. That might have been my favorite part of the show, actually. I did say the Young Bucks, but that Toni Storm promo was pretty cool, especially in that little theater on the balcony. It looked very old-timey. Very nice.
Well, Tony's always solid.
Yeah.
It's funny when we talk about main characters. This is the problem with Hangman. Like, I just don't find he's the main character. He's a good character. Don't get me wrong, but main character? I would put Tony over him right now at this point. I put Kenny over him. I'm surprised they haven't used Kenny more in that main role. They kind of did for a little bit.
He's too banged up.
Well, yeah, I get that. But I just think people see Kenny more as a main character than Hangman. Hangman's decent. And, like, I think a big thing about Hangman, I think he overcame his demons, especially in Chicago. Like, they cheered him a lot. And I saw a lot of shirts that were very anti-CM Punk. And there was that girl that flipped him off that was, like, nice to him. I sent you that photo and all that. So it felt like he redeemed himself in the place that hated him the most.
Everybody loves Hangman now.
Now they do. I mean, now he's got the ball. Let's see what he does with it. Maybe he will be the main character that I'm not seeing right now.
Yeah, I've always seen him as the main character since the beginning of AEW. You know, when you looked at the Elite, it was like, okay, well, Kenny's kind of the guy now. The Bucks are the tag team. Cody's like I don't know, he was something else. But Hangman was kind of like, oh, he's special, and he's up next. And then when they did the first ever AEW World Title match, it was Hangman versus Jericho, and Jericho won. But at that point, you kind of understood, like, oh, like, Hangman's not there yet, but one day he's going to be there, and he's going to be the guy in AEW. And now it just feels like he has reached the top of that mountain. There are still more mountains to climb, but, it's always felt to me like Hangman is kind of like the younger guy in the Elite. He's a little bit lower on the card, but he's super talented. He's very charismatic. He's got all the things that you would want: the size, the look, the ability, the promo, everything. And it's only a matter of time before he becomes the guy. And now that's kind of where he's at. I've always seen it, John. I don't know why you don't. I'm surprised. To me, he's like the main character. Like Kenny, he was already a big star established before he was in AEW. Yeah, it's always felt like Hangman's company. Like he was the superstar.
I go back to the first AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. It was 2019, I think it was. And who was in the main event?
I don't know, Kenny?
It was Kenny and Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why, like, I feel Kenny, to me, was the main guy. Like, you could say he was established elsewhere. To me, he was the fresh face of AEW at the time. So I thought he was more of the main character. And the way he was being pushed and then presented, and just his natural charisma, which people could like or dislike, he still has it. So I just felt he came off more as a main character than Hangman at the time, who that whole drinking thing didn't help him whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, he went through a lot of stuff. I think Kenny back then was the main event top draw.
Won all the titles, remember that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But he was like in his prime at the very top at the time. But over the past few years, we've seen him, out with several injuries and illnesses and stuff. Like, clearly, a lot of the stuff in New Japan and then carried over in AEW, like, it's taking its toll. He's getting older, too. I get what you're saying about Kenny, but yeah, it always felt like you remember when Kenny and Hangman were the tag team champions. Like, that was a big thing in AEW. They got really over through that, and I think a lot of that was about bringing Hangman up to Kenny's level. Like, a lot of that story was like people thought, maybe Kenny was the stronger piece of that team, but we come to understand, like, oh, maybe Hangman is. Like, that was the story being told, and I think they did a really good job doing that, and I think the purpose of that was to get Hangman higher up on the card, to keep moving him up. I think a lot of the fans of the Elite, a lot of fans of AEW were rooting for Hangman big time.
Well, I can't deny the work that he's put in. He's definitely had some very good matches, like this past year and this year. Without question, he's definitely earned his spot, and I wait to see what he can do. I mean, again, it's one thing to win the championship; it's what you do with the championship is another.
Mm. Hey,
Uh-oh.
Who's the kid?
The kid.
Nick Wayne with his mother.
Okay, yeah. That's Nick Wayne, the ROH Pure champion, I think, is it?
How is his promo? Because I didn't hear anything he was saying.
He messed up.
I was
his
lost.
promo.
I was looking at something else.
Oh, but I think he's the ROH TV champion, by the way. I don't think I'm wrong with that. But
you know what I'm talking about? Did you see what was going on there?
What I saw, what I remember him saying that he was
Mama Wayne.
Oh, you're talking about that stuff, but
what?
He messed up his promo though, Nick Wayne though.
Who cares?
Okay. Obviously, you were distracted. I thought you weren't a breast person. I thought you were more.
Whoa! All right, movie review time. Nope.
Oh. You know, it's funny how we go from one thing where Dave doesn't want to talk about women, then we're going to talk about his whole like Jennifer Love Hewitt scandal that he kind of brought up and made into news. I find that became a bit of a story. I don't know if you caught that or not, Dave. But
what did I do?
Well, last week, if you remember what we said about, I was going to go see this movie. I know what you did last summer.
How Jennifer Love Hewitt is beautiful and I love her.
I believe you said like, oh, she's not as good as she used to be, kind of thing.
Well, no, I mean, I just feel like maybe she's done some things cosmetically that like maybe she didn't need to do, you know? Just keep it regular. She was all right on her own. Well, anyways, go ahead, John.
It's funny. I look up the movie, you know, getting ready for it and all that, and I see that pretty much people are bringing that up, like, oh, like, look at her before, like when she did the first one, look at her now kind of thing.
It's like a different face. Like her face is like, who is that? Who is that lady? And then people are like, Jennifer Love Hewitt. And you're like, it is? Well,
I'm surprised. Like, I mean, come on. Like, she was what, like 19 back then?
Yeah, but when you're 19, you still look like the same person. You just look older. So some people look like different people when they get older because they do things to themselves.
Well, let's also remember she had 3 kids. So she's done things. With
3 kids don't give you Botox and lip fillers.
It's a life they live. It happens. I find she looks fine. Like, I had no problem.
Of course, she looks fantastic. I'm just saying I didn't recognize her. I was like, who is that?
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And
it's not.
No, it's not. It's not a big deal. I'm surprised it was a big deal. And at first, when I was watching this movie, I was wondering, are they doing a sequel to the other ones? I don't know. Like, you saw the first one, right? The first, I know what you did last summer, like back in like 2098 or something.
Maybe.
Well, you remember Jennifer Love Hewitt was in it, right? Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I remember she was on the poster, I think. I don't know. Maybe she was in. I don't know. I remember Jennifer Love Hewitt being cool.
You remember that time frame? I remember the time frame being that we had just came off the horror movies, like Freddy and Jason. It was starting to die down a bit, and they're bringing in kind of like the teen slasher movies, like Scream. This movie, I feel there was something else as well before Scary Movie came into play. But we were going into that kind of era, and this was kind of like the new thing, and it surprisingly caught on. I wasn't actually big into that first one, but this actually spawned like 2 other movies and like a TV series too. I don't know if you ever caught the TV series or not.
No.
Okay, you have no idea about that. All right. Well, this has nothing to do with the TV series or the third movie. This only ties into the first 2, which I believe Jennifer Love Hewitt was in both those movies. So it only ties into that. So none of that whole extra stuff. I know what you did.
Okay. So
it's very interesting that they there's a lot of fake outs in this movie, where it's like, because you know what happened in the first one, right? Oh,
No.
like there was an accident that happened and they cover it up. So what they do is, oh, look at the accident that happened. Oh, no, they swerve out of the way. It doesn't happen. Ha ha ha. There's a lot of that happens in this movie until eventually you get that.
You're supposed to remember the movie that happened like 30 years ago, 25 years ago?
Well, you remember the basic idea of it? No,
I don't.
Like, okay, well,
I remember
right now.
the title and Jennifer Love Hewitt, and that's it.
Well, basically,
I'm not even sure I even saw I Know What You Did last summer. I don't think I ever saw Scream. I don't like those horror movies.
I can understand because, like, it's weird in these kind of movies where the level of horror, it kind of varies.
I don't like horror movies at all, for the record. I don't like any of those.
Yeah, but you've seen, like, Scary Movie, though. Like,
no.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised by that, but okay.
Isn't that a comedy?
Yeah, but it's
about
still
horror movies?
Yeah,
it's like spoofing horror movies. Yeah, I never saw that because I'm like, well, I don't know the source material, so the spoofs are not going to work on me. I don't get the jokes because I don't watch those movies.
Okay, then, well, it wouldn't work on you. But I guess that's it. They play off a lot of the original source here from the original movies. But it's brand new, like 5 new teens trying to cover up murder that happened that they could have prevented, but they didn't. And they had their dad cover it all up, and they just went their separate ways. And then they get the note, I know what you did last summer. And then there's a fisherman masked up with a hook going slicing and dicing people. And like a harpoon gun too, by the way. Like there's some gruesome deaths at times. So they feel a little overwhelmed because this is kind of the weird part of it. The cops
People are getting murdered with hooks and harpoons, and they're feeling overwhelmed.
A little bit. So they try to get the cops involved, but the cops are trying to cover it up because they don't want the whole, like, people freaking out and everything. So, and they're trying to still cover up the first thing that happened. So
there's a serial killer on the loose, mass murder and serial killer. The cops trying to cover it up, obviously. They don't want anyone knowing about this or alerted or going to safety. That's the usual move for cops.
Just take that in consideration, where it's like, you think the cops would be helpful? No, they're not helpful in this, and this is how we get the setup.
Who are
so
these,
they do
indie wrestler cops? Are these the same guys that arrested Jacob Fatu?
You know, it's funny that they're actually less jacked. The cops that we saw tonight were actually more jacked, believe it or not.
Yeah,
so.
No, I would believe it because no cop is ever as jacked as these indie wrestler cops that are huge because they're wrestlers, not actors pretending to be cops, John.
Super chat.
Fair enough.
Yes, Angelo, I did hear about that, and we're glad that Ben Askren seems to be on the road to recovery. Thank you for the super chat, Angelo. I also want to thank Harold Schneider, who's been a member for 50 months, and says, as I said earlier, I don't watch AEW any longer. Done with AEW is Harold. Done. Yeah. Go ahead, John. Finish with the movie review. You enjoyed it? Was it good? What's the story here?
Well, at first I was kind of like, it's not really peaking yet. But once they brought in the original cast, they bring in Jennifer Love Hewitt, one of your favorites, Freddie Prinze Jr., then it started to pick up a little bit. Business picked up anyways. And then it got better. I thought violence got better. The jump scares got better. It was just a better. I think it helped too is that I saw the original, so I cared more. It's like this new cast really had nothing to care for, just a bunch of new people. I wasn't too big into the whole, like, this is what we care about kind of lingo. So I was happy with how things kind of transpired. I liked how they thought, oh, you're going one way with it. It's going to be this killer. No, it's this killer. It's funny. Like, I had a friend with me from the States. He's like, what is this, Vince Russo booking? Like, the whole, like, it's this killer and it's that killer. Like, what is this, like WCW 2000? And, like, it can be a little ridiculous. And that's why he gave it a thumbs down. But I actually enjoyed the ridiculousness because it kind of reminded me of wrestling. So I enjoyed it in the end. I will give it a thumbs up, actually.
All right. So there's the thumbs up for the Johnny North movie review.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Ooh.
Oh, George, you can shove it, George. Too
Shots
bad.
fired,
and sit on it, George, too, by the way.
Speaking of George, tomorrow night, UFC 318. We're going to be doing the watch along here on the Ringside Report Network. We're going to be talking all about MMA. We'll be watching the Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier fight and all the other fights on the pay-per-view. And maybe I'll even have watched prelims, and I can tell you about those and how those went. And that'll be fun. We'll do that at 10 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night, Saturday night, when the pay-per-view starts. We will begin our show, and we'll watch the pay-per-view. I will tell you what's going on, so you don't have to pay for that garbage. How about that? Pretty good, right? And if you can't find an illegal stream, you watch us instead. Or if you find an illegal stream, you can turn the volume down and listen to us because we're more interesting than the commentary, because the commentary is kind of like, it's like, whatever. They're good at what they do, but like it's kind of played out, and we have a little more fun, and we talk about, Jeffrey Epstein and things like that. So it's fun like that. They can't do that on commentary for the UFC. So that'll be fun tomorrow night for the UFC 318 watch along. And that's basically it. The Yankees lost tonight. Angelo, thank you. The Red Sox also lost earlier to the Cubs. Yankees losing tonight to the Braves, which sucks.
Blue Jays won.
The Blue Jays won. Yeah, Blue Jays won, which isn't great for the Yankees or the Red Sox, really. Did the Rays win?
The Rays won.
Rays won too.
But the Red Sox and Yankees are still facing each other right now as it stands in the playoffs. That hasn't changed.
Really? If the playoffs started today, the Red Sox and Yankees would face each other first round?
Yep.
Jeez.
Fun, huh?
That would be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. I think the Yankees would win that, even though...
Oh, I doubt that.
Even though...
Did they have a problem last time?
Yeah, the Yankees lost quite a bit to the Red Sox, didn't they? But I think in the playoffs, the Yankees need to do something at the trade deadline. That's really what it boils down to. This team is what it is. It's not a World Series team exactly right now.
You said they were better than last season.
Well, they're not playing like it. Like some guys... Like Volpe is worse offensively than last season. And he's struggling defensively. The pitching has been hit with a number of injuries. I mean, Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole both out with Tommy John surgery. What do you want?
Right. I mean, you're not the only ball club that's going through this. Other teams too. The Red Sox have problems too. So
yeah, well, the Red Sox aren't a World Series team either.
Just goes to show you're going to have problems. That's why you need to have deep pitching.
Yeah, well, hopefully the trade deadline they can do something about that. And Luis Hill is supposed to come back to the Yankees soon, and that'll be a nice addition. If you could have like a 3-man rotation that's working well with Rodon and Fried and Hill, you might have something. And if you can add somebody else at the deadline and add a third baseman, now you're talking. So, the Yankees are always willing to make moves and spend money, and they've got some good prospects. There's wiggle room here. So, I haven't given up hope. There's no reason to give up hope. The Yankees are in a playoff position right now. But yeah, they need to change some things. They need to make some adjustments. The pitching decisions tonight by Aaron Boone were just crazy. Starting Hamilton in like a bullpen game is nuts because you're starting us off losing. He gives up 3 in the first because of course he does, because he's been pitching terribly. It's almost like Boone's not watching the games. It's like everybody that watches the Yankees knows Ian Hamilton is giving up runs and struggling to make outs every time he's on the mound. For the past month, he's been really bad. And then you have your first game back from the All-Star break. You do a bullpen game because you don't really have a starter that can go for some reason, even though everybody's had a break. And you start your bullpen game with Ian Hamilton? I mean, of course we fucking lost tonight, Boone. What the fuck, man? It was
we got Stroman tomorrow, no?
No, we have Will Warren tomorrow and Stroman on Sunday. You know what that means? Yanks are getting swept in Atlanta.
Atlanta's not a great team. I'm surprised.
I know.
That. Wow.
But Will Warren and Marcus Stroman are not great pitchers. They're solid AAA pitchers right now. Even then. Like, they're not. I mean, Stroman's been like hit and miss, but when he misses, he really misses, and he's awful. And it's like 6 runs in the first, and it's like, what? 1 out, 6 runs, and he's gone. You're like, what happened? There's the game. Good luck climbing back out of this for the next 8 innings. This is going to be fun, except it's not because it sucks. And the Yankees do come back to tie it and then lose in extras because that's what they do. Stroman. And like, when he's good, he's not even that good. It's like 3 runs over 5 innings, 100 pitches, or not even 100 pitches, 83 pitches, and it's like, all right, that's enough. He's walked 3 guys in a row. The bases are loaded in the 6th, and you're like, he went 5 and a third with 3 earned runs. It's not great, but that's like his good starts, you know?
Right.
So when he hits, he sucks. And when he misses, he really sucks. So he's not a viable option. Will Warren is the same way, except when he hits, it's like no runs over 7 or 8 innings, and he's looking really good. But when he misses, it's 8 runs over 2 innings, and he's done by the 3rd. And you go, what happened? Like, he is sometimes really solid, but against, shitty lineups. And then if he's against a good team, he's getting fucking smoked. And it's been happening all season, and no one's doing a damn thing about it. They just keep throwing him out on the mound. And I go, we got no other fucking options than Will Warren at this point. What are we still doing here? I understand let the kid play, but maybe let him play in fucking AAA instead of the big leagues. Because he's not cutting the mustard, and it's almost a guaranteed loss every time he steps on the mound. I would say not every time. I'd say 3 out of 4 starts, it's a guaranteed loss. There's that 1 out of 4 where you're like, oh, shit, Will Warren pitched good. Maybe he's turning it around. And then next start, you're like, oh, no. No, that was an anomaly last time. 5 days ago, that was a fluke. This is who he is. What's his fucking ERA? 10? Fucking terrible.
I'm telling you got to win 1 against the Braves, though.
They won't.
That's huge. So losing 3.
Maybe tomorrow is Will Warren's good start. You like all this shit talking about Will Warren. Watch him have one of those, 7 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. Could happen.
I feel like their schedule's not going to get any easier. So I mean, you got to get.
No, they're playing the Jays after this, so they have to win. Will Warren is 6-5 with a 4.63 ERA. Thankfully, the Braves pitcher has a 6.32 ERA, so, but he'll probably have, a no-hitter through 7 because the Yankees somehow make shitty pitchers look great and make great pitchers look perfect. Ugh.
Well, they didn't have too many runs, but that doesn't happen too many games in a row with the Yankees. They usually can get a lot of runs usually per game. So that is at least a positive on your side. They're due for a breakout game in terms of hitting. So,
well, I think the Yankees have a better shot at winning tomorrow than your Red Sox. Red Sox are losing tomorrow.
The Cubs are tough, man. Like,
They're very
I see
good.
why the Yankees have problems against the Cubs.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're first in the Central for a reason. They're a very good team. And Imanaga's on the mound for the Cubs tomorrow. He's really good. So good luck with that. Good luck hitting that guy.
You know, the Red Sox won 10 in a row. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, they got to at least win one against the Cubs, but I'm okay if they can only win one against them. Because, again, to win 10 is tremendous. And this is what happened the last season, too. Like, it kind of fell apart in August. So now they got to keep it together somehow. They got to figure that winning formula. A trade or two might help them as well in terms of pitching.
God damn, Jays are playing the Giants and they still won. Like, what the hell, man?
Shut them out. I tell you, man, like, you keep dissing the Jays, but I'm telling you, Antoinette and Ancho are laughing in your face right now because they see it, man. Jays, like, they're definitely not only in the postseason, like, they could win the pennant.
What do you mean? Like, you think they're winning? They're going to the World Series? The Blue Jays are going to the World Series.
They could. They could. I didn't say they would. They would, but I said they could.
They're going to choke.
I mean,
they always choke.
I don't.
Toronto
they beat the Tigers.
Is like, when it comes to sports, except for the Raptors, that one fluke time, Toronto is choke city. They always choke. Hockey, baseball, they choke. Okay, they won a couple in the early 90s. They had whatever, a run where they weren't choking. But other than that, like the Blue Jays playoffs runs, and especially under John Schneider, choke. Like, they have underperformed in the playoffs where you're like, oh, man, the Jays pretty good team. They might do it this year. And then you're like, what happened? They're supposed to win the series. They lose terribly. You're like, what? I don't believe until they can actually pull it together. I don't think John Schneider can keep it together all the way. I think he's a bad manager. I'd actually rather have Aaron Boone.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep.
Given how mad you are with him right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd kind of rather have Dave Roberts. He seems like he's got it together. I don't know. I got to say, he's pretty good.
Well, I mean, Joe Torre looks like a ghost, but he's still alive at least. So
yeah, well, he's not doing it today. Anyways, that's enough. I'll be back tomorrow night for more. Hopefully I'll hear this tomorrow.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
Nice.
Yankees win.
not tonight.
Not tonight.
Hold on a minute, player.
Yeah, I don't get it tonight. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. What is this? Ooh, yeah, that's a strikeout sound. I like that.
Didn't happen tonight either too much.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow night for the UFC 318 watch along here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.